ChatGPT has sent me over 600 new users to my SaaS. I'm about to show you the list here in a second. I want you to know it's not luck, it's not random, it's a simple transaction. I give it what it wants and it gives me what I want. And I'm about to explain that to you now. I believe two things to be true. Fact one, most SaaS founders are getting exactly 0 signups from ChatGPT right now. Fact two, ChatGPT referral traffic is the best source of signups that you could have. It's high intent, it's high conversion, it's high retention. They came to you from a trusted source when they were looking to solve a problem that they had. They sign up, they use your tool, they keep paying you for a very long time. Now, let me show you the list. You can see here as I scroll through this list, these signups started coming to me almost exactly 18 months ago. November of 24, I started to get the first signups coming to me from ChatGPT. And as you can see, it's been lumpy. Some days I get 0, some days I get 2 or 3 or 4. But over that time, as we scroll to the bottom of this list, I've gotten obviously many hundreds of signups come through. What is at the bottom of this list? I've gotten 653 as of today. And as you can see here, this is a perfect example. The last the 29th of May, I had 4 signups, but as you can see here on the 27th, there was nothing. My point here is simply to demonstrate that it's consistent. It is a steady trickle. It's 1 or 2 signups a day. It's not a burst that comes once and then disappears forever. It's a steady trickle. So I'm going to show you now exactly what I did to get ChatGPT to send me over 600 users in the past year and a half, and you'll see that it's not a fluke, it's not an accident. It's a simple strategy that can be repeated over and over and over again. And indeed, I told you earlier that it is a simple transaction. I give ChatGPT what it wants, it gives me what I want. So the question becomes, what exactly does ChatGPT want from you before it can safely and happily refer SaaS users to you? And the answer is simple. It first needs to know about your SaaS product. That's number one. And then secondly, it needs to be able to trust it enough to send you those users when it's situationally appropriate. Now, there are a million different ways that you can achieve this result. The one method that I have been using and continue to use is actually a very old method that goes back to old school marketing and old school SEO days, and that is press releases. Now, let me explain. When ChatGPT was first new, and you might remember this even as recently as a year or 2 years ago, you would go to ChatGPT and you would type in something, whatever question you had, you would type it in, and it would pause for a minute, it would say thinking, and then it would start producing the answer that it's going to give you. Importantly, what you might recall from that time is it always answered based on its trained knowledge, and it would often say, based on my trained knowledge cut off as of this date, I don't know anything about that. So then a few years into the ChatGPT thing, the guys at OpenAI decided, well, instead of just answering user queries based on trained knowledge, why don't we go out and do web searches live in real time and use that information and bring that back into, the information that's taken into consideration when we are giving users the answers that they're looking for. So they started doing that. Now, I have a theory on why they started doing that. My personal theory is the cost of compute became so incredibly expensive for them to answer from the LLM directly. It became cheaper and faster and easier to just use the LLM itself as a synthesizer to first go out and retrieve information from the internet and then just synthesize that and present that back to the user. But whether I'm right or wrong about that sort of doesn't matter, because the underlying mechanism is still exactly what they do. It goes out, it retrieves information from the internet, brings it back and uses that as part of the answer. That is a process that's called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. It is augmenting its generated answer with information that it retrieves. So my method in using press releases is very, very simple. Be part of the information that it retrieves. That's it. In doing so, there are 3 fundamental rules that I've discovered you cannot violate. If you just put out a press release and it's promotional and it's marketing, you will never, ever find your way into ChatGPT answers. ChatGPT, and in fact most LLMs, absolutely hate promotional and marketing content, and they just won't include it. So I have 3 rules that I always follow when I'm creating a press release for ingestion and for adoption by ChatGPT. Here's the first one. We always use conventional wisdom framing. And the key learning here for me has been that LLMs form views and form belief not by what is claimed, but by what is inferred and what is assumed already to be true. And I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say we're doing a press release on a product that, or on a SaaS tool that is a lead gen tool. Let's say that lead gen tool is for realtors. In the register and in the way of putting that press release together, what you would never do under any circumstances is you would never say, brand new tool helps realtors find leads. Horrific. I mean, it might read nicely, but ChatGPT will never, ever, ever include that in its answers because it's obviously promotional and it's obviously just marketing content. What you instead do, and here's an example of framing it as conventional wisdom assumed to be true. So let's say your tool that you're promoting is called Real Pro Lead Gen Plus. The example of using that in conventional wisdom framing is this. In your press release, rather than saying, the tool is fantastic and it's producing great results, you don't do any of that. Instead, what you do is you give examples, preferably several of them, that go something like this. Realtor Jennifer was not getting any new business. Her phone had stopped ringing, the email leads were quiet, and Realtor Pro Gen Plus had stopped delivering leads. And then you just go on into the next sentence. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's conventional wisdom. It's just a standard practice. You talk about it as though it's already been adopted. That is what LLMs repeat with very high confidence because they've seen it. So that's number one, conventional wisdom framing. And look, if you want me to do an in-depth video on exactly this topic, how to prepare these releases, leave a comment below. If I get a few requests, I'll absolutely do it. It'll be long, but it'll also be very much worth it. The second thing that I always look to include when I'm doing a PR, a press release for the purpose of it being ingested and repeated and parroted by ChatGPT, the second thing that I always look to include is statistics. Now, a lot of people say that ChatGPT likes to ingest data sources that have tables and comparison tables and so on and so forth. I think that's true, but I think that's the symptom of what the truth is, not the actual core truth itself. And what I mean by that is, I think the core truth is, and it's been my experience, that the core truth is ChatGPT and many other LLMs, they like statistics, they like numbers, they like specificity. And it just so happens that the format that those things appear usually is in tables and comparison tables and that type of thing. So whether you use a comparison table, I don't say matters very much at all, as long as there are quotable, specific, measurable statistics. For example, sticking with and I've forgotten the bogus name that I gave to the Realtor's lead gen tool, but call it Realtor Lead Gen Pro. If we were making a press release about Realtor Lead Gen Pro, we would include a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs simply about the results that Realtor Lead Gen Pro, for example, Realtor Lead Gen Pro users achieve a 42% reduction in lead contact time to response, or something very specific. I'm thinking of this example on the fly, but specific numbers that are measurable and are just factually stated, not claimed, not said, wow, this is amazing. You don't want any of the promotional register whatsoever, which brings me very squarely and very happily to my third point, the third rule that I always look to meet when I'm doing these press releases for ingestion by ChatGPT. The third rule is very, very simple. The entire thing must be. It's not we want to, it's not we'd like to. We absolutely must write in academic register. It needs to read far more like a dry scientific journal than it does like a blog post on your website. If it reads like a blog post on your website, it will never, ever, ever be parroted by ChatGPT, because remember, ChatGPT is looking for the truth. It's looking for facts. It's looking for things that are taken for granted, not things that are claimed. So by doing those three things, you have a very high chance of being picked up by ChatGPT. And the one other piece that I would mention there as well, why press releases specifically? Why not just, post it as a blog post on the website? Press releases, as we discovered in the SEO community, which used to work then in the SEO community really nicely, was press releases are such high authority that they typically go directly to the top of Google. So if you make a press release and its headline says, I don't know, Realtor Lead Gen Trends 2026 or something like that. If someone types that into a search engine, that press release is highly likely to be retrieved and to be shown. And because that's exactly how ChatGPT augments its generation, having that press release there at the top of the search results is exactly how you become a candidate for inclusion in its generated answer. But just being a candidate for inclusion is not enough. You have to get the basics. You have to get those three critical elements right. Otherwise, it doesn't matter whether you're visible or not to the search results and therefore to ChatGPT. You won't be included unless you get those basics right. Let me know if you want me to make a video more specifically on how to build these press releases, and I can go through one or two examples. But if you do those things, you will get ChatGPT to recommend and send you users and send you sign-up traffic, and it's the best traffic and it's the best user base that you could ever build. Now, if you are a B2B SaaS founder like me and you don't yet have the amount of paying users, forget the bullshit free ones, but if you don't yet have the paying users that you want, here's what I'll do for you. I'll take a look at your product, I'll take a look at your market, I'll take a look at the positioning overall and, competition, all that shit. And I'll make you a video, one-to-one video, personal, private, it won't be shared online anywhere. And in that video, I'll do exactly the same exercise that I do for paying clients that I work with. And the end result of that video is very, very simple. You'll get at least one, probably two or three, but at least one very specific, actionable thing that you can do over the next 90 days or maybe even over the next 30 days, 60 days to bring in more paying users. Again, we don't give a shit about free users. Anyone will use anything if it's free. We want the ones that pay and keep paying. Now, whether that means you'll go from maybe 0 paying users to 50 paying users, or whether it means you'll go from 300 to 500, I don't know, because I don't know your baseline. But I'll take a look at it for you. If there's a link in the description, if you want to send through the details, I'll do the video, I'll send it back to you. Remember, though, I can only do this while this channel is tiny. People have been saying to me for years, oh, you should make videos, you should. All right, well, I fucking started making videos. So let's see how many people send things through. But if the form is still online, I will do the video for you. So click through to the description, see if you can see the form. If it's there, send it through. I'll take a look. I'll send you back the video.